Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for coming. I wasn't sure if it sounded a bit patronising to do the East Anglian Sarahs, but I thought actually it's quite fun because I think that a lot of you, well, I think that, are there three-year anniversaries, I think? All of you? Yes. Yeah. No, it's really cool. And I thought that following on from the treat meal post I put up today, we could talk about treat meals. Because I know that very often the treat meals are what actually ultimately derails us. And also the transition from phase 3 to phase 4. And I know that Sarah in Essex and Sarah in Norfolk are in phase 4. And Sarah in Suffolk's been there, but she's back in phase 3 at the moment, which is fine.
Yeah,
and, we're
in phase 3.
Yeah, we're all a work in progress. Yeah. So I thought, shall we start with introducing you, ladies? What do you think? Should we start with Sarah in Essex? And I had a great long chat the other day. And I was actually talking to Lara today, who told me that you were quite anxious about transitioning into phase 3. And you were going to take your son out for dinner and he wanted to go to Wagamama and you were quite nervous about it, but it all went okay in the end. Is that right?
Yeah. That's absolutely right. Laura has just got this most amazing memory.
Yeah.
My son and I, we have this sort of date night every Wednesday, and I was just dreading what I was going to choose going to a restaurant. And we did actually bin the idea of Wagamama's, and then we actually ended up going for a steak because I couldn't fail on a steak, and then just taking my little apple cider vinegar bottle, and then I felt like I was sort of smuggling in a spirit into a glass in the restaurant by carrying it around. And I feel like I had to justify if somebody asked, but it's always there at the ready. But yes, we went for a steak in the end.
Fantastic. And that's very kind of grown up of you, if you don't mind me saying, Sarah, because a lot of us, and me included, when I got through the first 16 days, I already fantasizing, the first time I did this, fantasizing about what I was going to have, and lots of crisps and chocolate came into it, which is, of course, not the best. But a lot of us do that the first couple of treat meals and then feel really rough and think, I think I'll try something else next time. So it's completely normal. Yeah. And you came to HBD via Donna Ida, but you were doing the CERT program. Is that right?
Yes. I started during the first lockdown doing the CERT, which is what we were chatting about and we spoke the other week. But I just found that there were foods for the CERT. I mean, it was superb, but you had to go to specific shops or buy foods online. And during lockdown, it was a nightmare buying anything online. Other than Amazon
or pasta.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wasn't going to start making it. I'd met Donna years ago when I was pregnant with my son. We had actually met, and then I saw her doing a live with you, and she was just hysterical. So if anyone's watching and asks that milk question, don't.
But do talk about poo, because that always gets her laughing. Yeah.
Oh, we love a poo story. Absolutely.
Poo questions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's how I started on the CERT, and then this is now March. It was March. Tomorrow actually is my 3 years.
March tomorrow, amazing.
I started on dare I say, on a Saturday, which most people do. That's when I first started it in 2021.
Amazing.
Yeah, I didn't document it on Insta, but Sarah in Norfolk, your journals are a work of art. She brought it when we all met up. Yeah. And I've started so many books, I just photograph, just picture, take them. And that's my way of doing it. But she's a masterpiece on it.
Yeah, really beautiful. Yeah. And Sarah, how did you come to HBD? Sarah in Norfolk, that is.
I came to it in the first lockdown. I wasn't feeling very well and I was getting migraines. And I thought, well, now is the time to just have a look at my lifestyle and can I change it? And I can't remember exactly how I came across HBD, but Donna was involved at some level, and it resonated, and I bought the book off Amazon, and I haven't looked back, basically. Yeah.
No, fantastic. And where are you? 3 years as well, did you say?
Well, it's lockdown 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember now. I think I'm heading towards 4th anniversary in November this year. So
yeah, you're right. It was March 2020, wasn't it? And we're now Yeah, no, crazy. Wow. And you have recently taken up yoga, is that right?
Yes, I have. Well, I've recently started a yoga teaching course. I've been doing yoga for a couple of years. But
well, I was going to say, it looks as if you've been doing yoga for a long time. You don't look like a newbie at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm now confident. I'm feeling confident enough to post a few photos. But yeah, that's just a glorious thing, and it's worked for me. And yeah, it's just part of what I do now. I don't even think about it, rather like I don't really think about eating HBD.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's just
Mm.
automatic. Must have been quite hard at the beginning, Sarah, because you're restaurateur and publican, aren't you? So you're surrounded by food and drinks all the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it was, so we were not, I was not surrounded by food all the time, but I was surrounded by family, a lot of family. So I had to feed everybody. But I was feeling so unwell. It was quite a driver. And I think, if you want to feel better, you have to do something. So I think that was my drive. But yes, now it's going from phase 3 to phase 4 was really nervy, and I've fallen off the wagon so many times. But it's, you feel so rubbish when you eat the wrong thing that it's now easy to go back, to BD and just stick to it.
Exactly.
Far less trauma, but it takes a while.
Exactly. So it was migraines that were really doing you in, and you thought, I've got to do something about this.
Yes.
And how long did it take for you to notice the difference with the migraines?
First, it was a sort of instant difference. Then they came back, and migraines were more to do with stress. But I felt so well that I just carried on with it. It was just a no-brainer for me. I've done other things to tackle the migraines, therapy and yoga and all sorts of things, really, just slowing down.
Yeah. No, amazing. Anyway, you're firmly in phase 4 now, and I love what you said. You don't really think about eating HBD. It's just like automatic.
It is.
Yes. Yeah. No, really, really great.
Yeah.
And but Sarah in Suffolk's always had a very soft and loving place in my heart, because she went to where my dad's buried in Suffolk and gave him some beautiful flowers. I think that was probably a couple of years ago. But that was such
It was in COVID.
It was in COVID.
Yeah, it was in COVID times, wasn't it? On one of my walks, I went to the local church for you. Yeah.
No, that was such a lovely thing to do. And it's a beautiful churchyard, isn't it? Kind of overlooking the sea.
Yeah, that whole countryside. It's just lovely.
No, really amazing. I loved what you said on the phone the other day, Sarah, about Sugar Monster. Sugar Monster, like for lots of us, you have to say, actually, you're out forever. I'm not ever giving you any more fuel ever again. And you're saying it was quite easy because your son's quite health conscious, and your husband, husband only likes hobnobs, which you don't like.
I don't. He's one of these people that he just decides he needs to lose a few pounds and stops eating the biscuits, and it falls off of him. So so we don't have too many naughties in the house. That's his one treat that he does like to have. Yes.
Are they chocolate hobnobs?
They are indeed. Yeah.
Still not tempting. That's great. Thank goodness for that.
Thing. Luckily, there's plenty other things that are there, unfortunately, but they're not one of them. Yeah.
And how is your weekend? How was this weekend? And what was your treat meal?
Treat meal, I had chicken and like a roast dinner treat meal. I'm definitely finding my way around the treat meals. When I first began, it was a bit like you said. It was like, right, what can I have? My favourite things, and I just had all the wrong things, and then I struggled to get back on again. And that's what I found. As time, the more time you do it, I think each time you learn something new, each time you do a reset at the beginning of January, you definitely learn new things as you go along. You think and I do know all the basic rules and everything, but you just find new ways that suit you, because like you say, it's so unique to each person. And I definitely learned in the first year how those treat meals can really throw you off track, and like completely throw you off track. You think you've done so well. And then you have something that's very sugar laden, even if you think you're having a dinner, but it's sugar, like a Chinese takeaway, for instance. Love a Chinese takeaway, but that would send me the next day, and make it much harder to get back on. Whereas if you have more of a steak dinner, like Sarah said, the next day it's not a difficult, you're not then having to fight against what your body is making you crave for again. So it's definitely...
Yeah, you're going to feel okay the next day now. You're not going to not to feel perched. That's worth so much, isn't it? Because as you say, the early days, and just having Chinese or loads of sugar or ice cream, whatever it is, and then feeling rubbish, and that makes the day after so much harder, isn't it?
So much. harder.
Yeah.
And you feel rubbish. And then for me, the bloat as well from eating things that just don't suit me anymore. I notice it massively. And again,
Yeah.
if I feel so much better.
Yeah. So not just sugar. Do you have to avoid wheat as well?
Yeah, I pretty much don't really have wheat anymore because I find that I just struggle. And if I don't have it, I don't have that bloat. And that's a massive difference. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And alcohol, that's another thing. I do drink, but I don't drink very often. And again, if I have a glass of something, I quite like to have a little nibbles with a glass of something.
Yeah.
And so again, I'd prefer not to have it. But since menopause as well, alcohol definitely affects me, gives me hot sweats.
It does.
Makes me the hot flushes from alcohol, as well as reaching things. So I really don't. One glass of champagne now and again, or but really not very often at all anymore.
Has anybody else noticed that with alcohol and menopausal symptoms, hot flashes or anxiety or anything like that?
Yeah, I think for me, definitely I've given up alcohol this year. I've just made it as my thing. If I have a glass of wine, I'll probably wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a nice little glow down my chest, and I'm definitely not. So it's just easier for me not to do it, and I don't miss it. It's the chocolate I would miss. Over alcohol.
It's the same. Yeah, same here. It's the waking up at 3 a.m. knowing that you've had a glass. It takes a glass and a half, maybe two, but it's the snacks that come with the wine. Wine has to come with food. Yeah, you just avoid it I have to avoid it if I can. It shows in my face immediately.
That's very embarrassing. I suppose it's a question of deciding what we're going to do and not. I think we get taken less and less by surprise, if you know what I mean. If we do something that's premeditated, if we say to ourselves, well, I am going to have a glass of wine and I know that I'll probably have some crisps, but that's okay because I can do that when I want to now and again, then that's all right. It's that slippery slope of not being fully conscious and not being aware and not reminding ourselves about what happens when we have a glass of something. But otherwise, it's okay, I think.
And it's the consciousness that really kicks in over time. So it's that self-awareness and it's that consciousness that only really kicks in over time. Because, you know, if you think about it, I was undoing years and years of habit.
Yeah.
Same, Sarah. Same.
Yeah. Happen overnight. So yeah, as you say, you can have that glass of wine and those crisps, but I know full well how it'll affect me. So
it's nice to have that knowledge, isn't it? And mostly we think, well, I didn't want to feel like that, but sometimes we think, oh, to hell with it, I'm going to do it anyway. And that's normal. You know, we're all human beings doing our best.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that what you said just then about it being a gradual kind of dawning of consciousness, that we gradually become more aware of how things are going to affect the way we feel and the way we look too, you know.
And it happens one by one. You know, the sugar monster took some beating. It was that first, and then comes the wine. That came second. So you I couldn't do it all at the same time.
So you started with wine?
I started with the sugar monster. So conquered that. And now I'm all over the wine. So I'm 3.5 years in. So it takes a while.
And anybody else got a rampant sugar monster they have to keep under wraps?
I definitely do. I mean, if I was to start eating sugary things, I would really struggle to the next day have a nice pure HBD day. It would be a struggle. I could do it. I would probably up my portions to help me get through that day. It would be a challenging day. It wouldn't be just an easy day eating what I usually eat. It would be a temptation day. It would be the kitchen would be calling me and I would be wanting to go and look for something. So it absolutely affects me if I start on anything sugary. It really does, especially if I'm at home. If I'm away, then it's not so bad because say we've got an ice cream because we're out. I haven't then got a house full of things. Not that I had to, like I said earlier, I haven't really got many things in the house anymore, but a couple of years ago I definitely would have done, but we just don't have it in the house, and that definitely helps. Or if you have treats for the family in the house, I have things that I don't particularly like, so I'm not going to be drawn to them.
That's really, really cool. And you know now that you're better off without I mean, how are you with fruit? Can you have a little bit of fruit? Obviously, you're
I have to be honest, I have fruits most morning. I sort of alternate with cherries and berries, with walnuts, yogurt or seeds, and I sort of alternate them through the week. Weirdly, I'm probably a very odd person with this, but I don't find that the eggs keep me full.
Interesting.
I don't know why, but I do find, I think most people do, but they just don't for me. I don't know why, not at breakfast, but I do find the yogurt, walnuts and seeds do with the fruit. Yeah.
Any difference between, walnuts or yogurt and fruit, or is it about the same? No, that's really.
I would say all the same, and I do activate my walnuts because it makes such a difference. The crunch that you get from an activated walnut is quite different to non-activated walnuts. Yeah.
But that's really good. Anybody else notice a particular breakfast that doesn't keep you going, or that you avoid because it tastes nice, but actually a couple of hours later you're hungry? Or do you just keep mixing it up and you find that you don't have any particular preferences?
The latter. I keep mixing it up and I don't have any particular preferences. I have to say eggs are the winner for me. Yeah, they keep me full and satiated for the next 5.5 hours. So yeah, I mix it up all the time. Yeah.
Really interesting. So how have your treat meals changed, would you say? Does anybody remember their first couple of treat meals, and what the evolution is really with the treat meals, how that's changed and how you feel the following day? Not bleh and yuck and puffy and craving sugar, but probably something completely different. It's so tempting to go down the sugar route and Chinese and whatever else. But if we go for the extra fats, we usually feel pretty much all right the next day. I don't know what have you found with that?
Yes, absolutely.
I think for me, the extra fat.
And what kind of extra fats would you go for?
Well, yes, I would love to. I just remember school food and delicious things like crumbles and pie, stodgy stuff, but I wouldn't. Now, with HBD, my dream would be I would just go more on the apple, stew it with the cinnamon, because the cinnamon gives that lovely sweetness, and then loads of dollops of the Greek yogurt, because there you're getting all the fats and you haven't unspoiled what you've been doing, but you're adding good fats to your diet. And if it's a few walnuts or something else in it, then I'd much rather know exactly what's gone into the food than buying something more processed.
Exactly. Or even double cream.
But I've learned from
Yeah. No, it is an evolution, isn't it? And I wondered we're all human beings and sometimes we overdo it, but I wonder if how much that's changed, what might have been your go-to, oh, sod it, I'm going to have X, Y, or Z, and how that's changed. I'll tell you how it's changed for me. I do have cheesy prawns once a week, usually here. And if I feel in a weakened state, then I'll usually have something kind of cheese heavy for lunch or supper, because I find that really hits the spot and it kind of averts anything that could be worse, like too many carbohydrates or carbs. So yeah, I find that really.
The first year I did it, I remember I was obsessed about my treat meal was coming, and the kids wanted pizza. It's not my favourite thing, actually never has been, but we went and got pizza. But I got chocolates, ice cream, crisps, and felt so poorly afterwards and couldn't get back on and struggled, and I'd done so well. But I hadn't really, I think there's more to HBD than following a diet. It's a mindset change. It's a lifestyle change. And like Sarah said earlier, I am definitely changing habits of a lifetime that I am now undoing. And so for me, I hadn't grasped in that first time that it wasn't just about a blowout. I can have whatever I want. And I'd kind of taken it on like that. And although you say that, like, we're learning that if you do that, there are consequences of doing that, because it's harder to carry on. So this year's, because I do a reset every January, so this year's first meal out went out with friends, and I had beautiful bit of fish. It was on with some chickpeas and potatoes, and I actually got home and I thought, oh my God, I don't think I've had enough out for my dinner, and I need to have some more fats and I need to have some more. I didn't, because it was lovely and it was all very nice, but I was more conscious of it the next weekend, that I actually bought some nuts in, because I thought if I do go and have something that I don't think is enough, then I would add to it when I got home or before I went, or so that I knew I was actually having more calories.
Thank you. That really, really helps. So extra fat to kind of fill up the gaps. Well, it's not funny, but I mean, it's so tied up with comfort and feeling nurtured and loved by our parents, isn't it? That sugary thing from when we're small. And you told me that you were brought up in Jamaica and had.
I was born in Jamaica, yeah,
Jamaica.
and lived there till I was 7. And then when we came back to the UK, I discovered chocolate. And yeah, I mean, we went from having, you know, avocados and mangoes growing in the garden and running around in sun to coming home in winter and comfort foods and a nanny that gave me lovely foods and
roly-poly,
so
and all sorts of things probably.
Yeah, so the sweet tooth definitely hit then. And like you say, and the association with, you know, comfort and all those kind of things. So,
Yeah, things like
yeah.
that. What about you two other Sarahs? Do you have similar memories of, you know, I sort of think about drizzle against the window and the window steaming up and the smell of this incredible pudding in the oven and, you know, being at home with my mother and, you know, it's all that kind of thing, isn't it? And it's very
Totally.
ingrained in us.
Yeah, totally tied up for me. My grandmother and my mother are massive cooks. My grandmother was a farmer's wife and she fed at least 10 people for lunch, the workers and the family. And she just cooked and cooked and cooked. And it was all from the sort of fat of the land. And she would cook her own fish and chips. And they would be cooked in beef dripping. Puddings were off the scale and family feasting at the weekends. I mean, it's very, very thin idea. Yeah, I feel.
And lovely memories.
Oh,
yeah.
Fabulous.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. What was her speciality? She was good at everything.
My nan's and my mum's specialities were pastry, particularly a proper puff pastry, rolled in butter. That was go into this pastry, folded, rolled, folded, chilled, rolled, and it was just her epics were epic. Yeah,
wow, amazing.
And she would just make them for the love of it. You know, it was their way of expressing deep love and affection. So yeah, very tied in.
And seeing the joy and pleasure on people, you know, sitting around the table on their faces.
It can't. Yeah, children, grandchildren, everybody was there, dogs, and it was, and gravy. Just the gravy was fabulous. Yes.
And Sarah in Norfolk and Sarah in Essex, what is your phase 4 for you? Do you do strict during the week and then phase 4 at the weekend and let things go? Or how have you translated phase 4 into your day-to-day life?
Strict during the week and then relax the weekend. That's how I liked it. That works for me.
Yeah. And do you have a proper treat meal at the weekend?
I think I have 2. Yeah. As the other Sarahs have said, it's not crazy. My first treat meal, I thought I was dying in the middle of the night. I woke up sweating, sat bolt upright, palpitations, thinking, what have I just done to myself? But slowly you learn not to do that. So it has morphed into just more protein and more good fats, as opposed to pasta, maybe cake or crisps or all that. You know, it's not worth it. No, it made me feel so terrible.
And do you keep your eye on the portions, or do you weigh yourself, or do you just let your clothes be your guide and you kind of know whether something's right by looking at it? Or do you need to be more prescriptive?
My right knee is my guide. 2 pounds over my perfect weight and my right knee says, right, do something. And my clothes, And occasionally I weigh myself, but that gets a bit obsessive. I don't know about anybody else, but that can be a bit obsessive for me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, good old right knee. That's your right knee is a friend indeed.
It's my buddy. Couldn't do without it.
No. And how about you, Sarah in Essex? Are you strict phase 3 during the week, or are you kind of more or less, you know, it evens itself out?
I do tend to have breakfast because I'm up really early, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm working Monday to Friday. Actually, I'm working this weekend. So I know it's important to me at that time, but sometimes I'm not hungry, but it's more habitual. Got to get it down me. When I was doing the CERT diet, I wasn't eating till midday. And you just train your body. Like you train your body not to have milk in your coffee or having your 5-hour fast and following the rules. And it just becomes a complete way of life. So for me, I think more so phase 4, I still stick to the 3 meals during the weekday. But because I'm up so early, they are long days. By the weekend, it's so easy to fast for me. And I wouldn't normally eat a meal till maybe 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's a new thing, the fasting, and it's experimental. So if we're all here, my partner's here as well, and if his kids, we've got a house full. So then we do tend to have a nice brunch on the weekend. We did actually on Mother's Day. We did a big brunch with all the family, and it was lovely. It went on all afternoon, and it was pretty much a treat afternoon. It wasn't a treat meal, but I thought, sod it. It's Mother's Day. It's all about my mother, us. Let's just go for it. And that's what we did. The next day I didn't feel too bad.
Yeah.
But I have to say, all these people that do have that sugar monster thing, when it does come to you, take a photograph of how not your waist, your face. To me, I took a photograph of my face and what I looked like after the sugar monster. And I was showing my father, and he looked at this picture. He said, "Who on earth is that?"
Wow.
I said, "It's your daughter." Yep. Honestly, and that was only 2 months ago. He could not believe the picture, and that was me packing my son's chocolate tin or treats or what have you, and there was no stop. And I admire the people that have those 2 squares of chocolate and then just go, done. I can still eat a whole bar of 90%. I don't just stop. I can easily eat a 90% cocoa. Yeah.
Wow.
So you just
I don't even feel sick after it.
You don't feel sick after it.
Oh, I could keep going.
You just
So that's it. I don't do it now. I say I don't do it now. I've given up for Lent. So I've done bloody well to get this far in Lent, not to have had chocolate. I mean, that is just unheard of for me because I would normally be having a little dip in and out.
Yeah.
But I've just got to stick to it. It's in the cupboard.
It's in the cupboard. That's really impressive. So what will you do on Easter Sunday?
Oh, I think I might have to have a little bit. I'm definitely going to have something on Sunday. But the apple cider vinegar
Really helps.
My iPad is actually on top of a Willie's. It came today, my next 5 litre. So I just mix it with the water and have that with your meal. Just keep drinking it. And it does help. Anyone that's not tried Willie's apple cider vinegar, please, because it is helping me and so much through this 40-day of the sugar monster.
I mean, brilliant.
Definitely.
And I think probably, Sarah, judging by the story you told me the other day, it helps people who come into your office, which apparently smells of apple cider vinegar. And that probably puts them off too. I love that.
Yeah, not when I'm seeing clients, that's a different office, but yes, my office where work colleagues pop in and smell the apple cider vinegar. I've got a little diffuser thing going on in there now to take the smell of it away.
I think it's very good for everyone. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah, the key is with moving from phase 3 to phase 4 is all of us flip-flop a bit, but the idea is that we're taking the lessons that we've learned from our body and taking them forward, which I know that all of us do, rather than thinking, well, I know that makes me feel shit, so I'm going to have it once a week. We just don't do that. We might do it every 6 months or something, but I think that's possibly key, and that really helps us to stay in phase 4 as well. And as we were talking about, it is an evolution, isn't it? It's not like we decide that's what we're going to do and then we just do it. We're always learning from feedback from our bodies about what suits us. And what suits us also is different when we're tired or we've been stressed out by something or we haven't been very well. We have to keep, it's a bit like driving a car, you keep adjusting the steering and the accelerating, as well.
Let yourself off the hook as well. You do have to listen to your body. Eventually, you do listen. Your body shouts loud enough so many times that you think, right, I really must listen to it now. And it takes as long as it takes. Yeah.
It takes as long as it takes. Exactly. I really like that. So it's about, I suppose, a lot of this is about treating ourselves and treating our bodies with respect. And remember, we've only got one body, to get through this life with, and we might as well be nice to it so that we have a joyful and easy ride, really, I suppose.
That's a mantra. You've only got the one. We expect it so much for us, and we've got to feed it properly. Yeah.
And we get away with it, don't we, in our 20s, our 30s, even our 40s, but there comes a moment when we have to say, actually, I'm going to treat this body with more respect because, I like feeling good and I like getting more joy out of it. this life.
Mm.
That's the key, isn't it? Yeah.
I think for anybody who's struggling or who keeps falling off, like, you know, I definitely have done and been guilty of, the fact you keep trying and the fact you know that you can get back on. And I find it only takes that one good day and then you're off again. So the quicker you get back to it, the quicker you'll start feeling better again. And again, maybe that first day, up your portions a little bit to get you through that first day. But you're doing HBD foods, you're feeding yourself well. And then you can go back down to your normal portions the next day, because it's not, you're okay again. That it's helped you get rid of the craving. And like Sarah said, take the apple cider vinegar, because that really does help to kill those cravings. And, you know, like you said, with life, you get thrown all sorts of things. We all do, everybody does. And even just a bad night's sleep can massively affect how you feel. You know, your craving can be much bigger after a bad night's sleep. So it's about listening to yourself. And I think you said, Petronella, to me, that some days you just have hungry days. Some days you do. And for me, because I'm such an all or nothing kind of person, so for me, if I've then, what I would have said to myself, gone off track, not been fully, just even by one thing, not by loads of things, by one thing, that could then spiral me into, well, I've blown today now, so I'll have XYZ. But actually, if I just have a bigger portion of HBD while I'm feeling hungry, then I haven't really gone off piste. I'm still feeding myself well, and the next day won't be another hungry day, because they don't fall like that. I certainly don't find that anyway.
I love that, Sarah. That's so helpful. And a lot of it is, it's about giving ourselves permission, isn't it? And saying, it's a tough day today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have extra food at my next meal. But it's all going to be good and nutritious. You know, I'm not going to cave myself in for this. Thank you. Really beautifully put. Very, very helpful.
Well, why do we have hungry days? Because I have hungry days where I could just pause, and I do what Sarah's just said. I just have bigger HBD portions. Why is that? Is it hormonal, or what is it?
Well, it could be our immune system. You know, the immune system uses up huge amounts of energy. And you know, there's always this kind of competition going on between who's getting the most energy, the immune system or the brain. Well, when the immune system's getting it, because the brain was not switched off, but it's not having to make decisions about whether to cross the road or not. And the immune system is seizing its opportunity to take all the available energy to do its repairing work, and also to see if there's anybody who's crept in during the day. So I think at the beginning of an immune challenge, we can definitely feel more hungry. Yeah. And as you say, hormones as well, they've been playing havoc with us. And also, you know, what we've dreamt about even the night before, you know, about how that might have stressed us out in some way. It's all quite mysterious.
Fascinating and mysterious.
I also find by having different proteins at breakfast, like smoked salmon or chicken or mackerel, I mean, it's not everyone's thing, but I do find by changing the fruit or eggs and then having those proteins at breakfast definitely helps with the hunger and different cycles.
Well, mackerel's your go-to, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
I like mackerel more.
You're very sweet.
I am definitely a foodie person.
But was it your mama who's saying, please don't eat that in here? But you were visiting her in the hospital. Yeah. And you had it in a box and took it next door. We really good.
Yeah. I mean, if we were flying the wall of all the places that us HBDers have eaten meals on the moon, you know, and I do giggle with us all in our Tupperware and our Pirates and whatever container it is, and we've been in car parks and all sorts of strange places because we've had to have our food at that given time.
Yes.
But my mother didn't want me having.
And Sarah in Essex, if a good friend of yours was about to start HBD but was very wary and quite scared, or, you know, sort of really not looking forward to the process, is there anything that you would say to that person to get them going, or to reassure them that it would be all right? Obviously, apart from looking at you and thinking, well, she's done it, so I probably would too. Yeah. Is there any particular piece of advice? I know it's difficult when you're put on the spot like that, but just sort of.
I've got some newbie friends I meet also work all the time, and I've got a few lurkers, and I'm sure they're watching now. And my advice is, the first thing is, have the book.
Yeah.
You have to buy the book, and don't read it once. I mean, it's like having the Bible in a hotel room. You can tell the people that haven't bought the book by the questions they ask. This is the thing. It's the best investment And I do meet people through work that are doing, and I'm not going to knock it because I know it works for some people, sort of weight programs, and I'm not going to name them. And it works for some people, but they're on, off it, on, off
That
it.
is the problem.
And they're having to buy these processed bars
Yeah.
and shakes and smoothies and things as well, and countless in HBD. You are buying food that you know what you're eating, you're consuming, cooking, preparing, everything that you're putting into your mouth, you know what it is.
Exactly.
Why buy something that is ridiculously priced as well? And it's everyday food.
Yeah, it's not food.
Processed.
Yeah.
Yeah. My advice is read that book, read it, and do not go gun-ho straight into
Read
it. Keep watching. I watch the lives. I watch the really old lives as well. From you go far back from when you first started,
We've done
Petronella.
it. Yeah.
Those
Right.
things, and don't necessarily go gun-ho straight into it. Little nuggets like drinking water. Before I started, I was having 3 Diet Cokes for breakfast.
Yeah, that's big changes.
I couldn't even bear the thought of going near them.
Yeah. My
It's about Sarah in Norfolk. Is there anything in
Baby.
particular that I love that, by the way? Thank you. Read the book, read the book, read the book. Don't
Okay, read-
just follow other people on Instagram. And you need to make this your own
Yeah.
and really understand it to
I
get the
would-
most out of it. Yeah.
But I would read the book. I read the book twice
Thank you.
before, but I said it was lockdown, so it's slightly different.
Yeah.
But read the book and really examine your whys, and then revisit your whys and be honest about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
I would.
absolutely whys are absolutely key, aren't they? Otherwise, it's just become, it's just academic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Becomes just another program, and it's absolutely not that. As Sarah has just said, it's a change forever, and then it
Yeah.
becomes pause as time goes on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those labels. Read those labels when you're shopping. Yeah, if you can, if you've got the time.
even if you haven't.
Even if you haven't, stand there like a lemon and read the label on a pot of olives, and you'll see that they're in sunflower oil and rapeseed oil. Yeah.
Yeah. Never go anywhere without a magnifying glass.
No, and don't trust what
There's-
you usually
there's a
buy
really,
either, because what you think is okay the next time you go and it's changed again.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
got cheaper ingredients in it.
Yeah.
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 How about you, lovely Sarah Suffolk?
I think I would say find the time that you know it will work for you, because you need to be fully invested. You
Yeah.
need to be in a space where in your mind you're ready for it, and you've got a proper clear diary, because I think some people think when they start, oh, that'll be okay, but no, it won't. Every reset I've done, I've done it to the book.
Yeah.
And you get the most benefit from it when you can do that. But you have to be able to give yourself the grace to be able to do it, and
Yeah.
not put yourself under pressure because you've got this, that, and the other going on. So find the right time for you. I know we all do the January sets. I think that is a good time for a lot of people, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So I would say everybody's different. Everybody's got different things going on in their lives. Find the perfect time for you to start.
Exactly. And again, it comes down to honouring ourselves, because if you had a friend who was about to start, you wouldn't say, oh, don't worry, just start whenever.
No.
And that's what we need to do for ourselves, is actually let's look at the diary and let's see when the best 16 days for you would be.
Yeah.
Like
I never did a September one because it's my birthday. It's not a good time for me because we've usually got different things on. So I quite often do it late summer or early summer before the September reset, if I'm going to do another reset.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, thank you, darling,
Thank
so much.
Thank
Really,
you.
really loved that chat.
It's
Really
been lovely.
lovely. Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.